All right, fun video today. We're going to talk about 3 new characters. We got 2 of them right here behind me. You got Mr. Sinister and Stryfe. And we're going to talk about the Marauder tag. We're going to talk about the minor reworks to Mystique and Sabretooth. Could make your existing teams better. And we're going to talk about Asgardians. My goodness, Hela with her summon. And then maybe a Thor and Loki rework. We're going to speculate about that here in a minute, after we go through the reworks for Mystique and Sabretooth. Now, the first thing I want to say is that these 2 teams that we're going to look at footage here are incomplete teams. They're saying they're not complete. Unlike the Supernatural video from yesterday, link up here in the top right-hand corner, that is a complete team. So right here, we can see Marauders in the Marauder tag, which is these 4 right here. And you see that they can just throw in a hand sorceress to make the team complete, but it's really not a complete team. And same thing for Asgardians. So what that means to me is that we're probably missing at least 3 characters, 1 Marauder, and 2 Asgardians before we have a complete team. Before we get into Hela and her kit, let's just take a look at Mystique and her reworks. First things first, her basic attack will do more damage now. So if you're going to continue using Mystique in a Brotherhood team, her basic attack does more damage. And I just want to point out that her basic attack, as long as she's paired with Magneto, will copy all positive effects, because that's going to be important later when we look at Mr. Sinister's kit towards the middle of the video. Also, when she is paired up with Mr. Sinister, check this out, on her middle ability, she's able to flip 2 positive effects into negative effects. Kind of like a miniature Doctor Strange ability. And I just think that is absolutely fantastic, because there's a ton of positive effects everywhere, especially in war, deflects and all kinds of fun things, and she will be able to flip them around. I think that's going to be very useful in a lot of situations. Believe me, I think a lot of situations when she's paired up with Mr. Sinister. And I'm not sure how this is going to play out. And then also on defense in war, she gets another boost right here, in addition to adding the Magneto Mr. Sinister tag to a lot of the abilities. Assist on all non-attack abilities. There's a ton of them with Mr. Sinister and Stryfe. Now, Sabretooth. Basically now, he has a 25% chance to assist non-attacking abilities. Using him in the existing Brotherhood team would mean that when it happens when Juggernaut taunts. It's pretty much the only non-attack abilities. Now, Stryfe and Mr. Sinister have a ton of non-attack abilities, so this becomes like a miniature Punisher thing, because 25% chance to assist on non-attack abilities per Marauder's ability. Pretty much Sabretooth is going to be the Punishers of the Marauder team. Very cool. Some additional things right here with Magneto and Mr. Sinister. So Mr. Sinister is going to be like the Magneto of the Marauders, and I believe that there's going to be a ton of opportunity to mix and match between the mutants and the Brotherhood and the Marauders to make an optimal team. Looks like it's going to be defensive minded. Now, let's change gears a little bit, and we're going to look at Hela and Hela's kit. Oh boy. Mystic Controller. She's going to get boosted turn meter when she's paired up with Loki, because Loki gives Mystic Controller some boosted turn meter at the start of battle. Her primary attack, her basic attack, is crazy. Attack, primary target for 300% damage, flip death proof on target. This is the most important part right here. Attack the most injured enemy for 100 piercing, ignoring taunt. Her basic attack has a Deadpool ability. This is crazy. She's going to be able to pick off people so easily. Weak injured enemies are just going to get knocked out. This is really good, guys. Really, really good. And her passive ability. I can't wait to get to the passive ability. Her passive ability is just crazy. Attack primary target for 350% damage. Apply disrupted for 2 turns. Gain an assist from an undead Asgardian. So that means Thor or Loki, because she's going to summon a dead Asgardian. Her summon is this zombie that just won't die. Keeps coming back and keeps coming back and keeps coming back. And her kit's crazy. I think it's also going to be very good on defense and war. Seems like all of these kits have something really cool to do on defense and war. Now, her ultimate ability, clear the death proof from all enemies, gain 5,000% extra focus for this action, and that's important because she's going to attack all enemies and spread 4 Negative effects from the primary target to all secondary targets. This will not spread stun. In the footage shown here, you will see Loki apply defense down because he goes very quickly, very early, and defense down goes to the one that he targets. And so we're going to see that spread in the footage. And then apply 2 regenerations for all non-summoned Asgardian allies. Fine. That means Loki and Thor, well, they will get regeneration. Now, this is where the kit goes crazy. On spawn, summon an undead Asgardian. And this guy just can't die. Basically, the only way you can kill this undead Asgardian is to kill Hela. And then once she is dead, the Asgardian won't be there. On undead Asgardian's death, summon an undead Asgardian. Basically, if you AoE, you'll kill the summon, but he'll pop right back up, and then he gives out healing when he dies. So there's like, you're punished for AoEing or having adjacent damage. Basically, this undead Asgardian will die, come right back up. And in fact, one of its abilities is that it kills itself. And every time it dies, it heals. Crazy. On turn, heal self for 5% max health, 5% per non-summon Asgardian ally. She has some leadership abilities right here. Max health per non-summon Asgardian ally. On war defense, on non-summoned Asgardian ally's death, summon an undead Asgardian. So when you do kill off Thor or Loki, you're going to get more summons. It's crazy. 25% damage. Asgardian allies gain 25% damage. That sounds crazy on war. Now let's take a look at the stats on the summon, which is called Undead Asgardian. We're going to know to come and love him as Greg. Well, I would just call him Greg. He puts heal block on his basic attack, which is fine. That's interesting. Attack primary target for 260 piercing, heal block, dark sacrifice. So he can sacrifice himself. He does damage, he applies bleed, but then he attacks himself and then he dies. Why would he want to do that? Well, because Hela's just going to resummon him. But when he dies, we have to look at his passive ability. When he dies, basically, he heals the most injured non-summon Asgardian ally for 180%. So we're going to see a lot of AoEs and things like going off right here in this footage, which is going to be very interesting. Now, I just want to say something right here before we watch this footage, which is raid footage with Thor and Loki. They did not give me any official information on a Thor and Loki rework. And I know a lot of people are expecting some sort of reworks for Thor and Loki. Now, just to be very, very clear, what you're seeing here behind me is beta gameplay footage subject to change. Meaning there might be things and interactions going on in this footage that are not occurring now in game. You're welcome to dissect this footage, and you might notice there are some interactions and things going on with Loki and Thor that are not in game. And you're welcome to speculate about that. I noticed several myself. I don't want to talk about them at length. And the reason why I don't want to talk about them at length is it's not set in stone. This may just be in place for this particular build. They may have been testing some things. They may have been trying to tweak Loki and Thor in some way to make them work. Plus, there's supposed to be 2 more characters, I'm guessing, to make a full team. So you can take a look at this footage and say, wow, Thor doesn't do that in game, or Loki doesn't do that in game. That's fine. But that may never make it to the game because this is strictly development build. And if they had an official release of what the changes and the reworks were going to be, they would have given that to me. It could be that what's shown in this footage will show up in game, but I wouldn't put a lot of weight into that. Let's just watch what happens here, because mainly what we're trying to find out here is how awesome Hela is, and she looks pretty awesome. Okay, first things first is defense down goes right there, and that's important to notice later, because when Hela goes, she's going to spread that to the rest of the team. Now, her summon goes right here, and he's going to do a basic attack, and that'll apply heal block. Okay, Nick Fury's going to go right here. That's fine. He does his summons right here, and she is going to do AoE right here, which is very good. And defense down is going to be spread to the entire team. That's very good. Okay, now one of the summon is going to die right here. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. Summon dies. He gets revived, and there's heals. That's it. Every time you kill off that summon, you're just healing the team. And it's kind of like a Minerva thing where it's healing the most injured, non-summoned Asgardian. So you have to kill Hela before you can get rid of the summons. The summons are just basically always going to be there. And then in war, if you kill off an Asgardian like Thor or Loki, then there'll be 2 summons. And then if you kill off Thor and Loki, then there'll be 3 summons. And those summons won't die until you kill off Hela. And so that's what's going to happen here. Look at it. AoE. All right. That summon just comes right back and heals up Loki. And so it's like you're punished for using AoE with this team. There's another AoE, right? Summon just magically pops back up and heals. Okay. Thor's going to do something strange right here. Right? Who knows? Who knows, guys? Let's not get too detailed on that. I don't want to make too much about that because they could do anything they want between now and the final version. Then right here, we have Hela applying Disrupted, a very powerful effect. We got an assist right there as well. Very good, very interesting. We've got her summon going, and her summon is putting heal block. Always fun to play against heal block. Boy, I do not want to play against Hela in raids. It's like a miniature. And then we got AoE again, and look at this. The summon keeps coming back and coming back and coming back and healing, and that is fantastic. Okay, let's see this right here. She did that. Let's see her attack the most injured, which should be a double attack right there. Yep, basically, she did a double tap right there. Okay, AoE. Thor does his chain attack right there. Very good. I can't wait to see. And then we get the summon. This team is just, she's basically anti-AoE. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, let's go take a look at the kits for Stryfe and Mr. Sinister. And I think this is pretty cool. Why don't we look at Mr. Sinister first? It's an incomplete team, but we're going to get another Marauder. Now, attack primary target for 300% damage, 50% damage per non-clone Marauder ally. He can actually clone someone on their team, and that becomes your summon. Gain an assist from a random cloned ally, and then gain an assist from a random Marauder ally. And currently, there will be 4 Marauders in the game: Stryfe, Mystique, and Sabretooth. Now, his gene therapy, it does have 3 at the start, but at the beginning of the battle, when he spawns, he gets 3 energy. So this is going to be available turn 1. Clear heal block from the 2 most injured allies. Gain offense up for 2 turns. Transfer all positive effects from ally Mystique to this character. Spread all positive effects from this character to all mutant or cloned allies. Now, Mystique goes faster than him, and technically, if you're paired up with Magneto, she can do basic attack and just get tons of positive effects above her, and then he could spread it to the whole team. Seems like a lot of flexibility on the way that this could play out. And of course, this is a non-attack ability, so you're going to have Sabretooth and even possibly Mystique doing all kinds of assists and things like that. Heal all allies for 2,000 health with 20% of this character's max health. Heal all clones for that amount. So a lot of utility, definitely support. Now, this is where it gets interesting. And again, it's 6 cooldown. Starts off with 3, but when he spawns, he gets 3 ability energy, so that's fine. Summon a clone of the primary target. This clone scales with Mr. Sinister stats instead of the primary target. Clone gains defense up for 2 turns. And in the footage that we're going to look at, he actually summons Kingpin, and it kind of gets crazy. On war defense, generate 2 ability energy for all Marauders and cloned allies. Oh boy, they're definitely going heavy right now on war defense. War defense is going to change. Boy, all the complaints that I had about full clear versus full clear is going to end, and war is going to change a lot. Okay, so on spawn, like I said, generate 3 ability energy if this character non-cloned. So if there's no clone on the board, he's going to get 3 ability energy. So those other 2 abilities that he has, his ultimate and special, will be available to him turn 1. On turn, heal 15% of max health, plus 5% max health per Marauder's ally. Apply regeneration to the 2 most injured mutant allies. Yuck! Boy, that definitely looks like war, sustain, possibly even raids. On Marauder ally's turn, if the character's health is greater than 50%, redistribute 10% health from this character to that ally. Oh my goodness, this could be even a good raid team. Who knows? Gain 50% focus. Marauder allies gain 50% focus, and then also gain 20% max health. Marauder allies gain 20% max health. On war defense, Marauder allies gain 30% max health. So there's going to be all kinds of crazy interactions between Marauders and mutants and Brotherhood. It's going to get messy, guys. I can't wait to see all the theory crafting that goes on. Now, Stryfe is the tank of all tanks, and the 2 of them together seem like they're going to be quite a pair together. Let's look at Stryfe's stats, and then we're going to the raid and look at some of the footage there. And I got to tell you, I can't fully comprehend all the things that are going on, frankly, at this time. I think I need more time playing with them. Stryfe looks cool, right? And he's a super tank. He has kinds of ways of taunting. His basic attack, if he attacks a taunting tank, he'll gain taunt up to a maximum 3. Clear taunt from the target. Can you imagine that against Drax? If Mr. Sinister is an ally, transfer all positive effects from the primary target to Mr. Sinister. Boy, he's going to have tons of buffs. That's a fantastic ability. Whenever basic attack and you're going up against a tank, you're going to basically get all kinds of stuff. Boy, plus he gets quite a bit of turn meter turn 1 from being paired up with Marauders in his passive ability. Superiority, his special ability, gain taunt up to maximum 3, gain 3 deflect, get barrier. Barrier is fantastic. Generate 2 ability energy to random Marauder allies. Boy, oh boy, that gives the team a lot of RNG right there, and a lot of sustain and ability energy is a good thing as always. And it's also not an attacking ability. So all those assists and those things that were added to Mystique and Sabretooth. Like I said, Sabretooth is going to be like the Punisher of the Marauders team. Boy, I feel like if you've got like a high star Sabretooth, you just won the lottery with these 2 new characters. His ultimate ability, apply ability block to primary target and adjacent targets, attack primary adjacent targets for 420% damage. And in the footage shown, that actually looks like it does a ton of damage. It looked pretty impressive, and plus ability block is very good. Comes kind of late, but there's lots of ways of spreading ability energy around on this team. On spawn, fill speed bar by 10% per mutant ally, and I believe in the footage we're going to look at, he's going to get 400 speed bar. On turn, if taunting, gain deflect up to a maximum of 3. When an allied Mr. Sinister drops below 50% max health, gain taunt. Wow, this is great. Up to a maximum of 3, gain barrier for 15% of this max area, so you're not going to really be able to get through Sinister without going through this guy. On war defense, gain resistance, and then this is where it gets crazy, guys. I don't even know how to process this right here. Mutant allies gain 50% resistance, gain 50% focus, and then villain allies gain 50% focus. Boy, this might be a plug and play. Just him and Mr. Sinister. It's going to be scary. Let's take a look at the footage, and I'll be straight up with you. I looked at this footage a couple times, and it was a lot to process, and you guys are probably going to notice more things than I did. And the other thing, too, is that this is on offense in a raid. How this is going to play out inside of defense and war is one thing. And then other thing, too, is this is an incomplete team. We're missing somebody. We're missing a Marauder. We're missing 2 Asgardians. Who knows what the final version of this is going to be? So we saw a bunch of fun things happen right there. Stryfe is taunting. He got to go first because he got turn meter early. He's taunting. He's giving out ability energy. That's fantastic. Okay, so now Mystique right here has a lot of choices. Now, if she was paired up with Magneto, her basic attack would copy a bunch of positive effects and she'd have tons. If they had a bunch of positive status effects on the other team, she could flip them. And by doing her middle ability, so there's a lot of flexibility what you can do there, because she's got like a miniature Doctor Strange ability. Okay, so she does the ultimate right there. which a lot of people do. That does quite a bit of damage. Okay, so we got Hand Sorceress, which is just a proxy for who knows what. Just sitting there. Sabretooth's gonna just run around like a madman and apply tons of bleed. Fantastic. Okay, now we get to Clum, and he's gonna target Kingpin. And watch this. Basically, able to steal somebody on their team. Can you imagine stealing like an Ultron? Oh, hoof. Can you imagine stealing Ultron and putting Ultron on your opponents? Ultron on your team? Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? I can. I can imagine a lot of things. But look at that. There's a Kingpin on your team now. So now Kingpin boosts the entire team. Oh, isn't that great? Isn't that great? That is great. Oh my goodness. And then we've got Stryfe over there taunting, doing his job. Okay. All right, she's going around, and it looked like she flipped some of the positive effects there on the targets that she hit. Looks like it was resisted a little bit as well. All right. Sabretooth is doing his thing like a madman. Okay, so this is a ability that heals and applies all the positive effects that were on Mystique, go on to him, and then it goes to the rest of the team. So look at all the buffs and look at all the assists, but look at all the buffs on the team right now. It just got spread around. My goodness, this is crazy. Look at all those positive status effects, and the number of interactions and ways that this could play out is actually very complicated. Plus, we're not getting all the war buffs at this time. And look at this. That is monster damage, chat. Oh, monster damage. I think I saw a 75,000 in there. And plus, they would be ability blocked if they didn't die. That is big damage. So, let's just break it down. There's some minor boosts to Mystique. Her basic attack got boosted. Sabretooth now gets an assist, potentially, when Juggernaut taunts. Hela, gotta kill her before you can kill any of the summons. Loki lore, who knows what kind of rework we're gonna get. It's an incomplete team, maybe 2 more Asgardians coming. We're gonna get Mr. Sinister and Stryfe, and it looks like it's gonna be a good team on defense and war, plus like all kinds of crazy interactions. Plus, there's obviously an incomplete team, so we're missing another Marauder. What do you think? I'm still more excited about Supernatural myself. Just saying, I'm pretty excited about Supernatural. Ghost Rider, Elsa, I can't wait to test out Elsa with all that miss and blind and stuff like that. I'm pretty excited about this. This is cool, but until we get the full teams, because it's basically 2 incomplete teams, I don't really know how it's going to play out. Plus, all the abilities in this video were 7775, and so how much of this stuff is T4 dependent? We will see. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.